Hey guys, Bo at KG5 Media. I'm here with Glenorchy President Tony Wade. Tony, thanks for being here. Happy New Year to you.
And to you, Bo, too, and to everyone else out there, players and all our members and parents and coaches. So, yeah, Happy New Year, and let's hope we continue on the run that we had at the end of 2022.
Yeah, so it's been a really successful year to start with. We came off 2 wins in 2 games 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
So, what's your take been on the year so far?
Well, I think we got to be pretty happy with where we're at. You know, we can't be totally satisfied because we want to continue to improve. But I think from an on-field perspective, all grades have played to about a little bit above to where we had some expectations. And the really good thing that I've seen that the coaching group have done as a collective has been around the improving the second grade and our under 17s. So third grade and 15s are doing really well, and first grade have finished off, as you say, that pre-Christmas match with a couple of wins. Any day we beat Clarence and Sandy Bay, we've got to be pretty happy with that. So, really good. Playing a little bit above ourselves in first grade, and that's through playing as a team and some really good leadership with Josh and Nick. We know we're a couple of decent players short in first grade, but we're actually playing really well as a group, and that counts for a lot. But as a club in whole, and obviously, our junior teams and junior program is highly regarded, and we're doing really well at that, and we expect that. But that's only through hard work from Westy and Steve Lacey and all the coaches involved in that. But so far so good. We want to continue to on the same vein as we up till Christmas on that front. But we can't ever be satisfied with on-field performances, and it's no different to off-field. We've had a pretty reasonable year so far off-field, but we just can't let things slip in the second part of the year on that front either.
So your second year as president of Glenorchy, what have been some positives and negatives? Have you enjoyed the role?
Oh, I absolutely enjoyed the role. I think I've got to be brutally honest. I think year two's been a bit harder than year one. The honeymoon's well and truly over, but I expected that. I mean, look, we can't expect to continue to demonstrate the right leadership and go through a change environment without a few hiccups along the way. I don't like to call them negatives, but you can always learn from the mistakes we make, and we've made a few of those. But it's all about how we can turn that into a positive and continuously improve. So that's what the journey's all been about to date. I think the really key thing from my point of view, apart from the leadership, which is on-field and off-field, and the coaching group have got a lot to do with that, but under Brodie's tutelage. But I think the rebuild of relationships has been critical and really important, and it's probably a little bit more strategic from a board perspective, but I think it's important for the future of the club. So the rebuild of relationships, particularly with Cricket Tas and the current administration under Dom and Sally Ann, Tom and Eamon, have been really helpful to us in terms of how we can actually improve that relationship. So that's really positive, and there'll be some exciting stuff that we're going to continue to do this year, and we'll be able to announce a few things in the next month or so. Glenorchy City Council has been a really an interesting one because the groundsmen do a great job. There's no question about that. But I think we've had a really solid meeting with the council just before Christmas in terms of them understanding what our requirements are as a Premier League club, and us rebuilding that relationship with the council has been really helpful. We're not after any money. We pay our bills on time and all that sort of stuff. But I think things about access to our ground and practice wickets a bit earlier than October or November, which has been historic. We can't do much about the weather, but just a few little tweaks on how we do things and work with the council, and that includes the footy club. So the footy club getting access to this ground, we don't have an issue per se with that, and vice versa. But we've the really promising thing about our relationship rebuild, the third part of this journey is about with the footy club as well. And in recent months we've had some great results with working with Nat and Jamie and now Scott Donaghy, the interim president there. So we're really positive that we're going to continue to improve, which is only going to be a benefit for the cricket club, and hopefully it will be able to help the footy club on that part as well.
So what are some expectations that we can see for this 2023 season?
Well, I think it's about putting things in place already for the 23-24 season. So we've already spoken to council about that, as I mentioned a bit earlier. So I'm really comfortable that we'll be able to make some subtle changes on that front, and it might be getting access to Shorebridge Park a bit earlier, so we can have some pre-season training out there because it's our second ground. So little things like that. I think facilities improvement on ground is the key. The new set of covers. We've actually put in some grant applications already that'll benefit us for next year if we get successful in that, and that's all about equipment to help our players, not the club or the club rooms. our relationships, as I said, that with cricket, Tas and the council are probably critical going forward, and that will continue again into 23-24. But one of the really things that I'm positive about and happy to announce that Jason Ahad, who's back on deck with us, former Glenorchy cricketer, obviously former Glenorchy footballer, but Jason's back in town and has been for a couple of months, but we haven't really formalised it until now around his role as General Manager, Strategy and Development. Not cricket operations per se, but one step removed, and the cricket operations person will report through that role. But Jason's experience from a business point of view and his experience as a cricketer and a footballer, and the work he's done at the Ringwood Cricket Club is going to be really exciting for us. So that's a recent appointment, so that was probably a month or so before Christmas. And already I'm noticing the stuff that Jason's doing in the background to help us grow, so that's really exciting, not only for this year, but going forward for next year. We've got a couple of gaps still at board level, and a cricket operations person is probably one of the other key roles, because you don't replace a Simon Stebbings overnight, and we've seen that where our gaps have been this year because of that. Simon obviously needed a break, and a well-deserved break as well, and can focus on family and cricket and work, and not so much on the cricket operations side. So from that point of view, there was always going to be a couple of gaps. But we've had Tim Spotswood and Carol Wallace step up and cover some of those gaps. And I've done a little bit in the background as well on that front, but we obviously need to make that a little bit different, that type of role going forward. But working with the coaches and the council on some of those issues has been pretty positive so far, but we still need to do a few things a little bit differently.
So we'll have a chat to Jason soon. People at home watching can get to know his role a little bit better, which will be really interesting, really intriguing for everyone watching. So Tony, thanks for being here. Happy New Year.
Same to you, Bo. I hope Santa was kind to you. I should have mentioned that earlier. Yeah.
Thank you for being on here, and hope to see you in this desk really soon again.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Bo.
Thanks,
good luck,
guys.
everyone. Thank you.
Ooh, well done.
Good one.
One take, that was really good.
Yeah, well, we'll see.